Recently, I would like to start off with a positive note. President Obama submitted the federal budget on time for the first time since 2010. While I appreciate his timeliness, and the constituents in the 9th District don't appreciate, though, however, his disregard for fiscal responsibility. The President sent a budget to Congress which starts the fiscal year with our country in the red. What organization starts off the fiscal year by saying they're going to purposely spend more money than they take in? How many folks around a dinner table actually have their conversations at the start of the year saying, you know what, I want to start the year broke and I want to end broke? That's what the President's budget does. The President presented Congress a $4 trillion budget, and yes, right, that's a trillion with a T. The proposed budget requests $4 trillion in spending, but only provides, catch this, $3.5 trillion in revenue. I was not the best math student, but I can see a problem here. That leaves the government a $500 billion deficit. Wait, hold on a second. Let me go back and correct myself. I misspoke. That leaves the U.S. taxpayers with a $500 billion debt, because let me remind you, the government makes nothing. Everything we spend comes from right here, my pocket, your pocket, and everyone else in this country's pocket. Now, I just checked. The population of the United States is slightly over 320 million. So every man, woman, and child would have to add an additional $1,500 onto what they already owe in taxes to include newborns in order for this budget to even break even. And that's just for 2016. The President's budget is a political document that reflects a very different view of fiscal responsibility than most people have. Let's go through it and discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly of this budget. First, the good. Now, it is true that our national deficit is shrinking. Is it because of the President's policies? No. It is because of the ingenuity and determination of the American people. The private sector is now growing and has been for a while, even as the administration has attempted to stifle business and anti-growth policies like Obamacare, other regulations that continue to put sand in the gears of American business. Even as the President's own budget documents, he cites economic growth has helped accelerate the pace of deficit reduction. He likes to go around to the nation and do speeches on how the deficit has decreased to its lowest level in decades during his presidency. The problem is that's an inconvenient truth that he decides to leave out, that the biggest drops occur after 2010 when the Republicans took control of the House of Representatives. The Republicans were able to garner concessions on reductions in spending, plus sequestration enter the fray, which aided in the decrease of federal expenditures. While sequestration is not the budget tool Congress would have hoped for, the President is now trying to capitalize off this budget negotiation side effect. President Clinton likes to take credit for the budget surpluses the country experienced in the 90s, which were the result of the Republicans' contract with America. Now, President Obama wants to take sole credit for a decrease in the deficit, a reduction in spending that he has had to make do with. The bad? The President wants to raise taxes on Americans at the worst possible time, as we are emerging from the financial crisis. President Obama's tax proposals target job creators and the middle class. One such proposal was so egregious that even the Democrats said, we can't go along with this. The President has had a tax proposal to cut tax benefits on college savings plans. The 529 college plans are a mean by which to close to 12 million families save for college, many of them middle-class Americans. This comes at a time when student loan debt is approaching trillions of dollars. Hidden deep in Obama's budget is a student loan program that has recently been discovered to have $21.8 billion shortfall. His plan to subsidize student loans has now created a loss equal to the annual budgets of the Department of Interior, EPA, and NASA. The ugly. This budget, he discusses, by 2025, the federal debt will have reached 73.3% of GDP. That is almost 3/4 of our nation's collective wealth. The President defines the country's $18 trillion debt as being fiscally sustainable. For him, 73% of our GDP is acceptable. And I quote, the key test of fiscal sustainability is whether the debt is stable, a share of the economy, resulting in interest payments that consume a stable share of the nation's resources. Go figure that one out. The most disheartening part of the President's numbers are incorrect. The Congressional Budget Office, an analytical wing of Congress, has stated that by 2025, the federal debt will actually rise to nearly 79% of GDP, when the federal debt would be $26.3 trillion. CBO states that our debt is currently 74% of GDP. The question you're asking now is, what is causing this increase in government spending? I bet you know the answer, but I'm going to tell you anyway. The CBO lists many factors, all of which are contributing to our bust in our federal spending. With that, this budget is, again, another example of what does not need to be. With that, Mr. Speaker, I yield back.